Let me know down in the chat. I do want to know how y'all doing, how y'all feeling, what is the vibe, okay? So let's go ahead, let's get started straight into it. We're going to do our mindfulness meditation, okay? We're going to get straight into it today so we can hop into the rest of our life, okay? Period. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do some chin to chest real quick, or just get our body in the flow, in the mojo. Okay. All right, inhale, reaching your chin to the sky. Exhale, back down, chin to chest. So inhale, rounding the shoulders back and out. Exhale, rounding the shoulders up and over. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, up and over. Couple more just like that. Inhale, shoulders up and back. Exhale, shoulders up and forward. Do two more at your own pace, just going with the flow of your breath. Taking your time to feel these out. All right. We'll do a couple neck rolls each way. Either way, we're just gonna do a couple here, feel them out. Ear to shoulder, chin to sky, ear to shoulder, chin to chest. Do a couple more at your own pace. Going the same direction. One more, and then we're gonna reverse directions. Reversing directions here. Ear to shoulder, chin to sky, ear to shoulder, chin to chest. A couple more just like that. At your own pace, following your breath. One more. Rolling up the spine. Put your hands in face forward, face upward, sorry, face upward. Okay, on your lap. Taking a moment here to just focus inward. Allowing your breath to guide you. And when you're ready, we're going to imagine our aura around our body. Get used to filling out what color your aura field usually resides in. If your mind wanders, just move gently back to breath. Returning focus inward. And when you're ready, you're going to imagine a pillar, a bridge of light, okay, from the soles of your feet all the way to Mother Gaia's core. And you're going to imagine all your beautiful energy connecting with Mother Gaia's, becoming one. Imagine your energy traveling through the pillar or bridge. Imagine the earth's energy flowing through the pillar as well. Watching the energies flow simultaneously, not as separate but as one. And when you're ready, taking your time if you need more time there. But when you are ready, you're going to bring all that lovely energy that you just connected with the earth, with Mother Gaia, up through the soles of your feet, up your body, all the way through all 7 chakras, starting at the root, going all the way up to the crown. And when you're ready, you're going to imagine a pillar of light, a bridge, all the way to the sun's core. As above, so below. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The Father, the Mother, the Child. The red wire, the blue wire, the grounding wire. And when you're ready, you're going to imagine all of that beautiful energy coming back through the crown of your head. And we're going to balance. Taking however long you need here. And when you're ready, let's begin wiggling our toes. You can roll out your ankles over your fingers. You can do some wrist rolls as well. Good to pay attention to those joints. I do like to crack mine, guys. Alrighty, and when you're ready, go ahead and shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Shake it out, get silly, get goofy. Promise you they can only see me. We're here, we're now, let's open our eyes. Welcome, hi, how you doing? Let me know down in the chat, okay? Alrighty, I do want to know, alright, how y'all doing, how y'all feeling? What is the vibe, okay? Alrighty. Let me know down in the chat. Alrighty, so today, just our soul tribe meeting, y'all. We just be vibing today, you know what I'm saying? Not too much. I mean, I will explain the live schedule so that we know what's going on this week. Okay. I'm still looking for 9 volunteers for the conscious game night that is on Fridays. Okay, Friday nights usually in between 6 p.m. through 8 p.m. Okay, that time frame around when we start, right? So we do use our intuitions. There's a whole rule for how we're using the intuition calls, okay? So that it's not like willy-nilly, like you have to like actually stand on business with your intuition, okay? So I do have all the rules written out with how we incorporate that into our games, which how we incorporate spiritual discernment into the game, right? As well as integration questions after each round, so that we can build self-trust, right? And we can, learn how to really feel our intuition in our bodies, right? Know when our bodies are telling us that something's off, right? Learn to listen to our spiritual discernment. Know where we did sort of listen to it, right? But we didn't like stand on business, right? So the game is a perfect for getting you to strengthen your intuition, getting you to strengthen your spiritual discernment and your trust in yourself and listening to your six senses, right? Your innate abilities that you came to this planet with, okay? So right now, if you are like, my intuition sometimes is on point and sometimes is not, it's because you don't use it a lot, right? You're not actively trying to make it better, right? It is a muscle you have to train, okay? That's what I like to tell you guys often, because intuition does not get better if you leave it alone, right? You do have to train it like it's a muscle, seriously. In your brain, right? You have your pineal gland, you have your thalamus gland, right? Those are to dealing with your third eye chakra and your crown chakra, right? So if you're not strengthening those actual muscles in your body, right, if you're not using them, they won't be as good, right? That's why psychology tries to throw intuition out, but it's because at the same time science doesn't really tell us much about the brain. And if we really understood spirituality and science and how interconnected it were, we would understand that our intuition is a part of our brain, right? All things we will discuss more tomorrow, right? because tomorrow is our lesson day. So on lesson days, we will be discussing different spiritual knowledge topics, like the one I'm talking about with your thymus gland and your pineal gland being your third eye chakra and your crown chakra, and the physical representation of the spiritual confirmation, right? So what we know to be the third eye and the crown chakra, right, have actual physical forms in our body, right? They are there, okay, right in the center, right? So we learn things like that on Tuesdays. We talk about different books in our Boss Up playlist, okay, because there's different ways to control your subconscious minds. There's different ways to manifest, right? All the books are there for you to read anytime on YouTube, right in the YouTube playlist. So don't ever think I'm gatekeeping. Trust me, all 200 books are there. Any more books I find will be in there. Okay, so don't ever think I gatekeep information, spiritual knowledge, right? I don't do that, especially when it comes to personal growth, shadow work, excuse me. But when it comes to those things, I'm not gatekeeping information. I'm going to go ahead and share that because I want y'all to be able to grow, learn, and evolve eventually without me, okay, eventually without my guidance, right? Because I literally put all that stuff, everything that I wish that I had at the beginning of my journey to help me along my journey, right, instead of okay. But hey, you gotta sometimes you just gotta walk through the fire, bro. There's no way around it. But I still want you guys to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? I still want you guys to not feel like, somebody threw you right into the spiritual journey and you had nowhere to look, no hand to hold. You know what I'm saying? Right. So literally I put all that information there for you guys so you guys can do the self work, right? That you guys can get in touch with your guide so that you guys can learn how to use your gifts. That's why we do all the things that we're doing on this channel, right? Why we're growing, why we're learning, why we're evolving about different topics and how they're all interconnected with one another, right? Science, spirituality, religion, okay? Yeah, all religions are literally on the same one divine true creator of this world, right? And then pieces of the story that you got to put together, right? Because of course they did that on purpose. Can't wait till those Vatican files come out, man. I can't wait. We can't wait, bro. This is gonna be a very interesting year. Hi from India. Nice to meet you. Who do you think is Antichrist? I don't know. I don't truly care either. Um, right. So like I said, we got the one true divine creator. Right? Pure energy. God is energy. Everything is energy. Energy is everything. Right? Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated. Don't we can get into the complexity of it. But when we break it down to the simplicity of it, right? Everything is energy. And then it comes together to form different part. Okay. We'll do that later. Like I said, that's our Tuesday events. Hi, Harmony. How you doing? How you feeling? Do, 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 do. Hi, Kate. How you doing? How you feeling? So today we are not doing personal questions. We do personal questions on Thursdays. Okay, so on Thursday, if you have your personal question, right, you can come in and you can ask for either a 3-card reading, right, or a 5-card reading for $5 or $10 through Cash App or PayPal. And then we do gifts ones as well. So it depends on what God Universe has us doing that day, but there are sometimes where we do the like 5 roses for 1 yes or no card, or the hearts gift for a yes or no card. So it just really depends on the Thursday. But yeah, so that's what we do. We do all that on Thursdays. That time is specifically carved out for your guys' personal questions, okay? On Mondays, right? Today is Monday. To get a reading from me on a Monday, right? You do have to be one of our investors into the Soul Tribe, okay? So if you invest $2.69 today into the subscription plan on TikTok, right, you do get a reading every week for the entire month, okay? And it's not a regular reading, it's a 5 card reading, right? Remember, your 5 card reading is your yes or no, okay? Right? Your why and your how to move forward. And then I can go deeper with the last 2 cards on your why and how to move forward, okay? I can get pretty deep in 5 cards, y'all. So unless you truly want your information out on the web, right? Then you know. But if you don't, you can always DM me for 3 card or 5 card readings. That way you don't have to tell everybody your business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, YouTube. If we have YouTube on, right, that does save indefinitely, right? So that's what I said. Just if you don't, just DM me, and we'll talk about it in the DMs, right? Don't have to do it on the live. And then for those of you who are financially struggling, right, all that I ask is that you DM me, right? You don't have to tell me or tell everybody in the chat. Just DM me and tell me your situation, right? And we will still get you situated, okay? Don't think that because you don't have the funds or the money, right, that you don't have access, okay? Right. So like I said, for Mondays, however, it is strictly for honorary Soul Tribe family members to get readings, okay? Yes, I do. Nah, I'm probably gonna butcher your name, hun. I'm sorry, but I do answer paternity questions, right? Only thing, not Nasia. Nasia, is it Nasia? Am I saying that right? Ina, how you doing? How you feeling? So yeah, so if you invest $2.69 into the honorary Soul Tribe fam on the subscriptions, right, you do get a 5 card reading every week, okay? If you get the Warrior Tribe, right, subscription, you do get a 30-minute one-on-one session with me, which is basically $40 off of the regular one-on-one sessions. You want to know when you will conceive? Yes, that's all about timing, right? Because when you thinking it and then versus what God's thinking it is always something different, right? So we have to be direct when we ask the questions like that, like certain questions like that, especially when you're wanting a time frame. Because if we don't put a time frame, right, tell you yes, and then you still waiting around and it don't happen for another 6 months, and you're like, I thought she was. Wait a second. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it happened, like, we talking about so far out, right? And then you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. So like I usually try to put a time frame around it, so that at least in the next 3 months what to be expecting versus an indefinite yes, like just a yes and it's like out in the open now. It's like, yeah, eventually, right? And only when you stop thinking about it when will God be like, okay, perfect time. God, universe is gonna be like, this is my moment to get her. Okay, remember when you talked to Alea and she said yes? Bam. I know that was like over 8 months ago, but Spirit has a way of doing things like that. Trust me. That's why I make sure like we gotta put the time, because you know what I'm saying. You're not gonna have them out here thinking I lied to them, and you was telling me something so far out in the future that they just forgot. They had to forget at that point. Like, oh my goodness. How you guys doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, guys. February. Okay, so yeah, like I said, today I'm not doing personal readings unless it is for the honorary Soul Tribe family members. Okay, so if you do join our subscriptions today, you do get 5 card readings literally every Monday. But only on Mondays, right? Unless you do participate on Thursdays and get a personal reading, which is when we do our personal readings. Okay, so you're always welcome to join us back on Thursday if you do have a more personal question that you know you're not wanting to get to the investment with the Soul Tribe family yet. That's fine, right? But there's always that opportunity on Thursdays. Okay. Wednesdays we do our collective reading for free. So if you come in on Wednesdays with us, you do get a free collective reading. You just vibe with us, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. One line could be for you, or the entire reading could be for you, right? Just follow your intuition, use your spiritual discernment. I will never ask you to just blindly listen to the things I say, right? And there's no need to do that. Right, I speak 100% accuracy. Right. Josephine, how you doing? How you feeling? I see your guys' questions in the chat, but like I said, Mondays we do not do personal readings for everybody, just for the honorary Soul Tribe family members. Okay. I think water came out. Okay. That's a really long name, but hi, how you doing? I'm like, I don't even know where to start on that. Okay. You said, what kind of readings do I do? Right, I do energetic readings, right? All intuitive readings. Doesn't matter what your question is. Like I said, follow your soul, right? Whatever you need answered from the divine, it will get answered, right? I prefer not to do love questions, because it's just a lot more other things to be talking about. You know what I'm saying? But if that's what you want to talk about, that's fine. Okay. Most of the time, I could tell you the answer without even using the cards, right? So with love questions, especially when it just takes me a second to connect to your energy and figure it out, right? I don't do that because I respect the consent, right? I respect your consent for me reading on your energy, right? But it's also dangerous for me to get caught up in anybody else's energy, right? So that's why we do the energy exchanges on Thursdays, right? For the personal readings, for 3-card, 5-card readings, or just a simple yes or no question, okay? But I'm less likely to answer you in the chat if you never say hi, hello, how you doing, you know, what's up, Alea, you know what I'm saying? Because it's human decency, right? I get we are, you know, on a screen, but like let's still treat each other like we're human, right? Like we're souls in a vessel, right? Like we all have to be a part of this, right? So yes, we're on a screen, but we're still here, okay? Break you guys out of that nasty habit on this internet. Treat each other like you're human. Okay. People get in that habit of just asking questions in the chat, and we don't do that here. Hi Jane, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know in the chat, okay? I do want to know. Let me go ahead. Boom, love bomb for Jane, and then boom, love bomb for Kevia. Am I saying that? I probably butchered the heck out of that. I'm sorry. Kev, 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 Kev. I feel like I'm doing too much with the E. Kev, said it right the second time. Oh, if I can remember what the second time. Kevia. Like Kev. Okay, so like Kevia. Yeah, okay, period. Okay, sending all the love back to you, dear. Thank you so much for the rose. How you guys doing? Hi, Pam. Alrighty. Cadence World. Cadence. Did I say right? Cadence. Thank you, Cadence, for the rose. Sending all the love back to you. Love bomb. Did I miss something over here? He said, nice glasses. Thank you. Do. Okay. Welcome in, guys. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let me know down in the chat, okay? So, hey, Issa, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, right? So, we are not doing any questions for today unless, like I said, Mondays is for honorary soul tribe family members to get their weekly readings, okay, that they get every month, right? If you subscribe today for $2.69, you do get a weekly reading, okay, every month that you subscribe to the channel, okay? On Thursdays, we do the same to you, dear. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, so what was I saying? I forgot. See, I get so excited. I'll be forgetting my train of thought, y'all. Thursdays. Something about Thursdays. Thursdays, we do the personal readings. Okay, so if you have a personal question, right, follow along so you know that when I go live on Thursday. Alrighty, you do have updates in YouTube community page as well as our Discord hideout. Okay, the server that is in the link in bio, right? So you can know through those ways to get like when I'm going live, like you'll know before everybody else knows, right? Especially if it's, day like today, what? Usually we go live at 9:30, but Spirit had me up at 3 a.m. So and I didn't go back to sleep until like 7, so it wasn't happening. Right, like it just wasn't happening. So yeah, so like I said, we if you do need a personal reading at any time, right, you can always DM me, right, for a 3-card or a 5-card reading, right. They can be about anything. I know if you do the service inquiry, right, I went through there and made sure that any question like you had about what kind of questions you could ask for what's it called, like how to book a tarot reading, if you could get a 3-card or 5-card reading off the live stream, and then what kind of questions could I ask about for my reading. So all of that is answered for you guys there. Because I wanted you guys to have, I don't know why this, boom, right? Even if you just need to talk to me, right? If you just need a shoulder, right, to lean on, okay, you can use that as well. My DMs are always open for you guys, right? So that you guys never have to feel like you're alone in this journey, okay? Alrighty, so that is not just for an easy way for you to like get a reading, but an easy way to reach out to me. Not just on TikTok, not YouTube. I don't think you can really do DMs, no. So not YouTube, but Discord, which the link is always in my bio. Discord is like a private server where we have our own conversations, like what we kind of talk about on Tuesdays, but I can't always go like super deep on live streams. TikTok is finicky about some of the topics we touch on, right? So anything we talk about with the Matrix, right, anything like that, I try to keep the bulk of it on the Discord server, right, because that's our private hideout where we are discussing many topics, conversations, what our plans are if technology goes down, right. So there's, you know what I'm saying, that is a way to connect with other like-minded individuals, okay, have other people to lean on, right, support each other, uplift each other, okay, build a strong knit community that's really here to change this world, okay, because that's what we came here to do, right? We didn't come here to see all this hullabaloo, okay, that's going on in the day to day, okay. I don't know if y'all been paying attention. I hope y'all been paying attention, but if you haven't, I hope you get to paying attention with everything that's going on with the Epstein files, as well as with ICE, but do not allow yourselves to get caught up, swept up in it. Okay, observe, right, but don't get to reacting, right. A lot, if you are feeling emotions of anger, emotions of fear, right, make sure that you are meditating, okay. Alrighty, so that you can keep your nervous system calm, cool, collected, in check, okay, so you don't go off the wire, right. They are literally using guerrilla psychological warfare tactics at this time, spiritual warfare tactics at this time with the Epstein files. So if you do read them, make sure you pull your energy back from it. I woke up because God wanted me to basically help shatter the spell they have on it at 3 a.m. Yes, doing the divine's work at 3 a.m. shattering spells. I don't know why, but spirit was like, I need you to destroy this for me. So that's what I was working on last night. I wonder how many else of us in the ethers were also working on that little project, but it was fun. Okay, so anywho, right, things like that. So call your energy back, right, because when they do release more, they're still gonna try the same tactic of putting little spells on it and stuff like that, to harvest, siphon energy, get you emotional reactions out of people, right, like that's just how that is, right. I'm not here to fearmonger you. As you can see, I'm not stressing about it, guys. Why am I not stressing about it? Because you can call your energy back at any time. Your energy is not owned by anybody but you, right? And you don't truly even own your own energy, because everything is energy, right? So it belongs to the Most High, okay? So in that regard, they can't take it from you. Okay, unless you forfeit it, unless you actually are like subconsciously, remember, this is why you have to be conscious when you're doing activities, why you have to be conscious in your day-to-day base, right? And be intentional in how you move, especially when you're reading things like the Epstein files, right? Okay. You have to be intentional about how you approach the files, right? And how you step away from them, okay? Because you gotta keep your mental in check, your heart in check, right? You gotta keep everything in check, okay? If you go off at the haywire, that's what they want. That's what they want, okay? That's somebody in here. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Seen sister. I said you were in the Catholic Church. And you played in The Conjuring as an extra. Ah. I tell y'all, The Conjuring is based on a true story. Right? Lorraine Warren was an actual psychic. She actually had gifts. She was very clairvoyant, right? Clairsentient, right? She had actual gifts, right? God-given gifts. Okay, blessed by the divine for her to be able to do what she did. Of course, you know what I'm saying? Her daughter wanted the stories to get out, but you know how Hollywood is. So, right, you know what I'm saying? You gotta dramatize it just a tad bit, you know, make it seem so fake. Who would ever believe it's real? You know what I'm saying? Because even though the daughter has stressed how real this was for in her life. Like, you telling me she grew up around all this stuff and we're just supposed to believe she just said this is just one big movie? No, like that was her actual life, guys. This was her parents' actual job, right? That's what they did. They stopped because she almost, you know what I'm saying? Don't even get me started with that movie, okay? Because when you have spiritual gifts, 9 out of 10 times your child is going to have spiritual gifts, which means that you should be teaching them and preparing them for that moment, right? At least guiding them, at least introducing them to a little bit of the knowledge, just in case if they do start coming into these things, they already are prepared. It's not some big scary thing where their subconscious is going to try to block their gifts out to try to protect them from themselves. Okay, that's my biggest issue with that movie. Anywho, I'm not gonna get too into it, but yes, right. So Tuesdays we do go into more spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom, information, things you to know, self-help things, right? So working on self shadow work, right? That's all on Tuesdays because we have a lot to learn, a lot to grow on, right? And a lot to evolve. Okay, so you're not really done until we out here walking on water, okay, performing healing miracles. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Until we moving like Jesus, okay. And you can believe what you want, but Jesus was an actual figure, right, that did achieve those things. They just tried to write it off like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when one of the humans, right, get to such a powerful state, of course, how did that play out? Right, right. When they were already trying to control everything, and it was like, oh, you think you big dog, huh? Mm-hmm. Right. That's how they treated Jesus. Okay. Boom. So we talk about things like that on Tuesdays. Wednesdays we do our collective reading. Okay, so for the entire collective, whatever the divine needs us to know about, that's not always about love, guys. Okay, could be about working on self. It could be shadow work that needs to be done. It could be career goals, right? Anything that the divine is literally pushing us in the direction into, like knowing that week, right? That what last week we did with this whole situation, right, the massive shifts that are happening mentally, energetically, last week. So that was a big one. Thursdays we do personal readings. Okay, so if you do have your questions, right, and you're like, does so and so love me not, right? Doesn't matter what your question is. Am I going to get a new job? Am I going to be pregnant? Right? If your soul is guiding you to ask, ask. Okay. There's no wrong questions for the divine. I depending on what kind of reading you get, if you get a yes or no question, or you get a 3 card or 5 card question, your question can be open. Like with 3 card and 5 card, your question can be like more open ended, right? Whereas with the yes or no, we need to make sure it's a question that can be answered in yes or no. Okay. So just phrasing. So if you phrase your question, I will rephrase it. Ask if that's what you are basically asking of the divine, and then boom, we get into it. So that is on Thursdays. Fridays are very important for you that want to strengthen your intuition and your spiritual discernment. Okay, we play a game called Among Us. It is a friendly game of where you have crewmates, okay, and then you have imposters, right? It's like Mafia, right? If you played what you call it, I'm blanking on one of them, but there's another one, not just Mafia, but basically you're trying to figure out who are, the bad guys. You know what I'm saying? You got your tasks that you do in the game. Okay. Hi, how you doing? How you feeling? Visha? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, okay? Um so if you're playing with 10 people, so 10 people would be like, you got 8 crewmates. Then you got 2 imposters. The 2 imposters go around calling sabotages, which makes the ship they're in start malfunctioning. Okay, and the crewmates have to go fix it. Imposters can fix it if they were trying to, manipulate the situation into seeing that they are, innocent. In this regard, it wasn't them who called the sabotage. You know what I'm saying? Slick stuff. But that is the friendly game. Exactly. You're not gonna get mad at someone for playing the game as the imposter. You know what I'm saying? That is their role. Their role is to literally cause confusion, chaos, right? Their role is literally to make it so that the crew can't trust themselves. Sound familiar, right? It sounds familiar, doesn't it? It sounds like the imposters' roles are actually what we're dealing with in today's times, right? Oh my goodness, we have imposters among us in the government, right? So I'm teaching you how to strengthen your intuition and your spiritual discernment so you can spot the imposters in the government while using a game, so it makes it fun. So when the time comes, your intuition, your spiritual discernment are up here, okay? And when the time comes, you're gonna be sitting there like mm, mm. Okay, right? And even if you are and you do have good spiritual discernment and you do have good intuition, practicing your gifts on a we do it weekly basis, but if you want to do daily basis, right, with the group, hey, like that is going to make you unstoppable, more unstoppable than you already are. When you literally practice your gifts and you actually sit there intentionally to strengthen those muscles in your brain, right? The inevitable is growth. Okay, so yeah, on Fridays we do play Among Us, but Among Us is so that we can strengthen our intuitions and our spiritual discernment. Okay, we use intuition calls, right? I think I explained this a little bit earlier, but we do use intuition calls. The intuition calls make it so that, say, you're playing with me, right? I just use myself as an example. Say that I'm the imposter this round for the game, right? And you are like, okay, when I passed the Leia back in the one room, right, it just felt a little off, right? I'm gonna call her out on the imposter when it's my turn, right? So boom, we come into a meeting, there's a body, okay, somebody dropped, right? And you're like, all right, this isn't the first body, this is the second body, all right? So after the first, you can't call it during the first body, okay? So it'd be after the second body. But boom. So the second body has dropped. This is the meeting for that body. Boom. You're like, I'm using my intuition call. When I passed Alea, my body felt like it was just contorting in a way that just didn't sit right in my soul, right? And boom, you know, we can't vote on it yet, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like peep game. Everybody on the same wavelength. You know, the collective is all like, you're saying your intuition call is on Alea because when you were near her, your body gave you like this little signal, okay? And you're saying based off of that signal, I'm saying I'm saying that based on this information that my body gave me, it's a, you know what I'm saying, but we can't vote yet. Okay, not until the next meeting is called. Okay, so that's how you would use it though, right? So no one can vote on that intuition call in the game. So if you are calling the intuition call, just know that no one is allowed to vote on your intuition call into the next round, right? So if someone says my intuition call is on Alea because when I passed her in the one room, my body gave me a little, you know what I'm saying? And you back it up with your evidence why you're trusting your intuition and you're standing on business with it, right? So boom, next round, if everybody feeling the same, the whole collective is like, I think you're right? Or if somebody comes in the next round and they also decide to use the intuition call and they're like, I'm using my intuition call. Okay, I got my ears started ringing when I was around Alea. You was right the last round. Call it. Boom. Automatic, that gets the person out, right? If there's two intuition calls, right, on the same person back to back, that means that that person is we're going to go ahead and just trust that if two people's intuition is telling them the same thing about one person, boom, that they're out, right? The first time we're giving it time for spiritual discernment, we're giving it time. The first time it's called, right, somebody is called out for being an imposter in the game, we're giving them time for them to give their defense, right? So they're not talked over, right? Give your defense, okay? Explain why you're not the imposter. Tell us your path thing, you know what I'm saying? Tell us, explain to us why you're not imposter, okay? Because this right here is going to be a vital point of, is the group going to trust their own intuition, or are they going to be swayed and persuaded by somebody else's words, right? So this is going to be a crucial point for both parties with the intuition call and the imposter, the person who got called out, their defense, right? Because this can make or break your imposter game or your crewmate game, okay? So boom, give your defense. Next round, if no one's found any evidence, right? If the person who called them out the first round still sticking to their story, right? Because you gotta stand on business. If you're gonna make the intuition call, you gotta stand on business, okay, with your intuition. Do not back down. Do not distrust yourself, right? You have to stand on business, okay? So boom, call them out. You're not using it again. You're just saying, I am going to still go with my intuition call. I'm going to vote them out this round, right? You can do that, okay? Now, based off the defense that the person who was called out gave, based on what happened that round, based on the collective group's intuition, as well as the collective group's discernment in the situation, right? We'll see who is trusting themselves, trusting the group, or trusting the person who called out. So you'll see there who needs to work on what and where, right? In that moment, okay? And that's what I want for you guys to see, okay? I want you guys to see where it is you need to work on when it comes to trusting yourself with your intuition and your spiritual discernment. Because if you don't trust your intuition and your spiritual discernment, it can make or break something. It can literally be life or death. Like sometimes it is that deep, right? So trusting your spiritual discernment, trusting your intuition, all right, is gonna come in handy more than just in a game, right? But also in actuality. I'm just showing you in a game so that you can apply what you learn to reality, right? because when you're starting to look for certain stuff in a game, right, you're looking for certain things in reality. You're looking for certain patterns, certain drawings, certain things, that you see, that you might see on a day-to-day basis now, but after playing, right, you see it on a day-to-day basis and you're like, right, you start, wait a second, okay, using your discernment. Like um I'm working on something for y'all. And hold on. And so I had seen this thing, and it was literally the same. It was like a cartoon, but the cartoon, the little boy had the symbol for little boy for human trafficking, like what the FBI released as the symbol for little boy in human trafficking. And I was like, whoa, ain't this a kid show? Like, okay, like, all right, so stay tuned, because I'll tell you, I'm about to, okay, the what I have coming for y'all, that's why it was important for me to see this show that I was looking at, because in the first episode, my third eye, my spiritual discernment was like, what? Like, I don't know. That's so funny. I split the deck. And the card in the middle is gonna be the eye in the sky. Recognize the interconnectedness, mindset, higher perspective, another viewpoint, right? Oh, guys, I'm so excited about what I got in the works for y'all. It will be available probably only on YouTube, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So yeah. So Fridays, yeah. So that's what we do to the game. Now, if somebody, doubles down on it, okay, if somebody is like, okay, I called this, they use their intuition call to call this person out the last round. I'm gonna use my intuition call to call that same person out this new round, right? Because something not sitting right in my soul about this. This person is definitely playing a different role than the role that everybody else is playing as crewmate in the game, right? So boom, intuition call a second one on that same person. We're just gonna go ahead, automatically vote them out. Now, in advanced games, right? So if you are not new to using your intuition or your spiritual discernment, right, then you only get one call. You only get one intuition call. You only get to be like, my intuition call is so and so one time. One time. That's all you get. So use it wisely, right? Because you're going to have to stand on business after that, right? So I'm teaching y'all to really trust yourselves here, okay? And with beginner games, however, with beginner games, you do get two. Okay, you do get two intuition calls. So that if someone else, right? Because you got, how to explain this? It's just to give you a safety, right? So for beginners, is to give them a safety. But as well, that means you're going to have to answer more questions during the integration, right? Because you're going to have to not really explain to us, but walk yourself through why you had to use two, right? And like I said, we have the questions there in the Discord server, where you would also sign up for the games, pinned in there, right? So you can look at it anytime, know how it works, know how the integration questions work, because usually you just have to answer two at the end. But if you do use both intuition calls as a beginner, you will have to answer all three of the beginner questions, okay? So that you could really get a feel for where it is you truly need to work on, right? Whether it's here, right? So it's not daunting or like you don't create mistrust within self, okay? Alrighty, guys. So that is our schedule for this week. Remember, Saturdays, Sundays, y'all will not see me. Okay. Alrighty. In the Discord server or on threads, yeah, but on live for posts, no. Okay. I don't think I have anything else. If I do, I will send out an announcement in the Discord server or also the YouTube community page. Okay, so those are the two places you get announcements from me about what's going on, or if I have anything extra to share with you guys that I forgot to bring up on the live. All right. I love you guys. Remember, we speak love, justice, and peace. Y'all have a blessed day. Amen. And I'll see y'all next time. Okay, let's see if I can do this together, guys. Boom.